Right off the bat, Ancient Oleander. I already had to thank you. I saw the donation go through earlier today. Extremely, extremely generous. Very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. Oh my god, my cat's attacking my window. Ziggy, stop. Oleander, thank you so much for the $120 donation. That is super, super, super kind of you. Insanely generous. Thank you so much. Rachel and I were seriously stressing out, crunching numbers, figuring out bills. And that is a huge relief. So thank you so much. Cannot tell you enough. Thank you, thank you. And then here you are again with the 5 community gift subs going out. Getting all of these wonderful members of our community gift subbed, stick bugged. Get stick bugged. Girl and Geese, Toluca Dreams, The Waterlord 27, Dark Templar 114, and Blue Man San. Blue Man San. Thank you so much, Oleander. That is super, super kind of you. Good people, good times, and 25. Gadius with the 25 stream streak. Keep it up. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate you being here for all of these streams in a row. Bigger streak than my own wife. If I wasn't streaming while she was working, I'm sure she'd have a perfect record. Love you, Rachel. Wow, no, how inconsiderate. No. We have the IRL streak. We see each other every single day. Because we're both introverts who never leave the house. And we love it. We like it that way. Rachel did leave the house to go get groceries today, though. Because I was going to go. Typically, I try to go and make the grocery runs whenever we need to go to the outside world, walk around with the day walkers. But the last 2 days, like today and yesterday, I've woken up with very low blood pressure, which is extremely unusual for me because I've been having issues with high blood pressure for the last several months and taking medication and stuff for high blood pressure, taking readings and stuff, and getting, consistently having high blood pressure. My body was accustomed to my blood pressure being high, and since I've changed up my diet and been taking meds and kind of getting healthier over the last several months, it's been closer to normal. Still, usually slightly elevated, but at least closer to normal ranges. But then the last 2 days, it's been really low. My average blood pressure back before I started all the health changes was 150 over 100. It was pretty high. After taking meds and fixing my diet and fixing up my life a lot, the last month or so, it's been closer to 125 over 90, which is not bad. It's still high. It's still considered hypertension, but compared to where it was, it's been much better. And it would even dip into what's considered the normal range for me, which is right below or right at 120/80. And then today and yesterday, I woke up with my blood pressure around like 100/60, which is the lowest it's been ever since I started taking blood pressure readings. And I basically felt like passing out. I spent all of yesterday, just kind of unable to move. Diggy, stop. My cat is being exceptionally annoying today. So if you hear loud thumping in the background, that's him opening and closing cabinet doors. Just because he's a little shit. But yeah. Anyway, distracting cat. But yeah, my blood pressure was pretty low yesterday. Similarly low today. Just been feeling very headachy, very dizzy, very lightheaded, just very out of it in general. But doing a bit better now. I think just the heat has been getting to me. And when you wake up, your blood pressure is typically a little bit lower anyway. So it kind of lowers naturally while you sleep. Combination of that, combination of blood pressure medication still doing its thing on my body. And dehydration, sleeping a lot while it's very, very hot. Obviously, you can't really drink water while you're sleeping, so tend to get more dehydrated, tend to get overheated. In combination, I think everything just got me feeling real weird. Got me feeling real weird. But yeah. Huge thanks to Rachel for going out, handling the grocery run today. Because she also hasn't been feeling great. And still deals with everything. What time of day are you taking the pills? I usually take them at night before I go to bed. Because if I take stuff in the morning, it makes me feel too weird for the hours while I'm up. I'd rather take stuff at night so that I can kind of sleep through the side effects. Hey, what's up, Baker? Welcome. Hope you're doing well today. I've been a little bit off today and yesterday. That's kind of what I'm talking about right now. My blood pressure's been much lower than normal. So I've been kind of feeling dizzy and my head's been aching. But I think it's mainly heat, dehydration. Been a hot summer. And we're trying our best not to blast our AC 24/7 because we can't really afford to. Just don't change positions too fast. I mean, when I was asleep, I was just like passed out in one position, which is very unusual for me. Typically, I toss and turn and change sleeping positions a lot. But like going from lying down to sitting up and sitting to standing, yeah, I'm doing all of that very carefully. But I'm doing okay right now. I said, I've been drinking plenty of water today. Had some food. We're dealing with a plumbing problem. Our sink and dishwasher are like backed up. So we're gonna have to have plumbers come out and take a look at it. So in the meantime, we were like, let's not cook and add a bunch of dirty dishes into a sink that we can't use right now. So Rachel just ordered pizza for us. So I had some pizza, drank a bunch of water. Goes against my diet. Pizza, when you've been dieting and eating better for a long time, is like the best thing in the fucking world, by the way. You can taste just how bad it is for you, but definitely worth it. Some days you just gotta do it, and it'll be fine. Salt might help with the pressure a bit for now. That's kind of what we were thinking too, because I do such a low sodium diet 99% of the time already. Having a little increase of it when my blood pressure is low shouldn't hurt. How can you sit there and eat pizza? Oh, we did it. We did it happily. Hey, Temporal Fry. What's up, Hotbot? Thank you for the good vibes. And yeah, things are definitely getting better, as said. Rough day today, rough day yesterday, just because of the weird blood pressure stuff, but hey, I'll take that over super high blood pressure, heart palpitations, panic attacks. Any day of the week. And I think that'll level out. As said, I think a lot of it is I just need to make sure I'm drinking even more water than usual, staying exceptionally hydrated, especially at night when I'm getting ready to go to bed and everything. And thanks for the cozy videos lately. Glad you've been enjoying them. The moment of truth, and I soiled it. Was there on the last stream of the cam hack. Been fuming because I fell asleep and missed the actual endings. Could always watch the VOD, but it's not the same. Yeah. I know. I understand. But the archive is there. I know it's not the same. But we finally finished off the cam hack. So, taking yesterday to kind of rest. Not feeling great. Today I was considering taking another day to just kind of chill, but I'm feeling okay tonight. I'm probably not going to play anything. I'm definitely not going to be able to focus on gameplay because I was thinking about starting Silent Hill 2 remake speedruns, and I just don't think I can focus on that right now. And I was also considering doing some Dead by Daylight because there's a PTB going on at the moment. Public test build. They added some Walking Dead characters, so there's new perks, a changed map, a bunch of killer reworks and add-ons. They changed up Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head actually kind of got buffed. So as somebody who plays a lot of Pyramid Head in Dead by Daylight, that'll be fun to try out eventually, but I don't think I can focus on DBD or anything right now either. But we can probably talk about some characters. Good luck downloading new DBD. Friend was downloading it for 5 hours. Oh, I mean, I've already downloaded it and switched over to the PTB. For some reason, Dead by Daylight, whenever you reinstall it or switch back and forth between PTB, like, it's way slower than any other game of the same size. I don't know what it is. He was already buff as is. How do you think he lugs around the sword? Good point. Good point. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. What's up, Shadow Noises? Neon Triforce. Nora. Locomo. Two introverts goblin caving life together is beautiful. That's exactly what me and my partner do. Oh yeah. I couldn't ask for a more perfect life. and a more perfect person to share it with. Nub, did you like the Parasite Eve games? Yeah, post up. I think I've got on the archive channel my last time I streamed them. I played them back when they came out, but I streamed them for a Halloween stream probably in like 2016 or 2017. It's been a long time, but they're archived up on one of my channels where I did Parasite Eve and Parasite Eve 2. I played Third Birthday. I don't think I ever finished it. That game is exceptionally weird. I even used some footage of Third Birthday in one of my videos not too long ago talking about Silent Hill F. Because Silent Hill F has Hinako's clothes breaking away. And that mechanic reminded me of Third Birthday. Oh, Oleander, you've already given so much. You've already done so much. Gifting stuff out to the community and donating, and just donated another $100. You're insane. You're insane, Oleander. Thank you so much. But I'm just gonna go ahead and give you this VIP badge. Thank you so much. Super, super kind of you. Very generous of you. Thank you. I said you're helping me pay for these doctor visits I got coming up. You're helping us get through these rough times, along with everybody else who's contributing and supporting me while I'm making videos and doing streams. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much. And thank you, Oleander, for the insanely generous donations and gift subs for our community. Thank you. Neon, what kind of pizza was it? Pepperoni and mushroom with Parmesan crust from Marco's. Extra cheese and light sauce. Yeah. Sounds like a good pizza. Hey, we could do the pizza tier list tonight too. The pizza topping tier list, if you want to get real controversial. You think the comments have been bad under the Silent Hill tier list? Wait until we start talking about pizza toppings. I'm a big mushroom fan. I know a lot of people don't like mushroom. Thank you for the VIP nub. What an honor. Hey, there's a lot of channels who just kind of give their VIP badges out to whoever. I'm stingy with mine. I think I still have a bunch that I can potentially give out before I hit the limit. VIPs are typically like in real life friends, like people who I know in person outside of streams, family members. I've started doing VIP for people who have been following for 10 years. And I used to give out VIP badges when I was actively speedrunning. Whenever I was doing Silent Hill 2 speedruns. Before the RNG manipulation was discovered, and you could just figure out what puzzle solutions were going to happen during a run. Um, I treated the VIP as very important psychic. So whenever we would get to the briefcase in the hotel, it would be a random 4-letter word out of a list of like 22 words. And whoever in chat would guess the correct word before anybody else. Whoever was the first person to guess the correct word in chat, I would give a badge to. The very important psychic. But I haven't done that in a long time. Because once RNG manipulation was discovered, anybody could pull up the, like, you can search around online, you can find the seed chart that speedrunners use. Or even the software. There's a tool called Lucky Hill that plugs in all the numbers and stuff for you and figures out what all your puzzle solutions are going to be. So I couldn't do that anymore once that strat was discovered. Because anybody watching could pay attention and figure out what all the puzzle solutions would be. Redacted. Pizza toppings tier list. Maybe after we finish the Silent Hill characters tier list. Although there are some other tier lists that I've come across that I want to do in the future. Silent Hill monsters, Silent Hill locations. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind doing random other un-Silent Hill related things. If people like it. And on that note, let's get into it. We're ranking Silent Hill characters on this Ultimate Silent Hill character tier list maker. It's got 335 different characters. And I'm trying to make my way through ranking all of them, my personal rankings for like all of these characters. There's a lot of significant characters that are strangely missing from this list. There's no like PT, there's no Norman Reedus or Lisa from PT, and there's no Tassadul from Ascension. There's a lot of main characters missing. But Magpie Juju, thank you so much for the 6 months in advance. Thank you, thank you. Very much appreciate that. Thank you so much, Magpie. Much love. Appreciate the support. But yeah, we're working our way through this massive character tier list for Silent Hill. It's got a lot of side characters and like barely mentioned characters from a lot of the games. It's got stuff from Book of Memories and the arcade game, Silent Hill Ascension, the movies, the comic books, even the Historical Society alternate reality, not alternate reality, but augmented reality game. A website that I think I looked at once. So I didn't even recognize who these people were at first. So yeah, it's missing some stuff, but it is still a very, very long list of characters. And here's everything that I've put up so far. For anyone who missed part 1 and part 2, no, PT's not on there. But for anyone who missed part 1 and part 2, My toppest of the top tier is Heather Mason, and then also in S tier, Harry Mason, Alessa Gillespie, Jody Mason, OG Silent Hill 2 Maria, OG Silent Hill 2 Laura, Remake Laura, OG Angela, Remake Angela, Pyramid Head, Walter Sullivan, Remake Eddie, Mira the Dog, the aliens from the UFO endings, Vincent Smith, and the Twin Victims. That's my S tier so far. A tier, Claudia Wolf, Douglas Cartland, Lisa Garland, Michael Kaufman, OG Mary, Remake Maria, Remake Mary, OG Eddie, Leonard Wolf, Memory of Alessa, Baltiel, Eileen Galvin, Cynthia Velasquez, Jasper Gain, Richard Braintree, and young Walter Sullivan. B tier, Jasper's Friends, and honestly, Sybil, I think, is going to be my top of B tier here. Sybil Bennett, Jasper's Friends, Joseph Schreiber, Dahlia Gillespie, Officer Gucci, Remake James, OG James, Ernest Baldwin, Brookhaven director from the OG, Joseph Barkin, Thomas Orozco, Stanley Coleman, Happy Birthday Caller, Henry Townsend, George Roston, William Gregory, Walter's Victims. C tier, some other Walter Victims, Cheryl Mason, Norman the hotel owner, Nurse Rachel, Jack Davis, Josh Lewis, Remake Janitor, Angela's mom, the Toluca prison warden from Remake, the Brookhaven director from Remake, the missionary, Frank Sunderland, the cultist whose voice we hear on a cassette tape in Silent Hill 3 talking to Vincent, Andrew DeSalvo, and Toby Archbold, another Walter victim. D tier, Alessa's teacher, Miss Kay Gordon, Amy Baldwin, the daughter of Ernest Baldwin from Born from a Wish, Eddie's bully, and Rick Albert, the owner of the sporting goods store that Walter killed. And my only entry in the don't care about them category is the new Brookhaven director from Silent Hill 3. But we still have all these characters to get through. C for Cheryl. Yeah. I'm not going to go through and reiterate why these characters are where they are. I try to give as much of an explanation as I can in part 1 and part 2 when I put all these characters in their respective categories. Remember, these are just my opinions. I'm ranking them on character design, on morality, on their depth of writing as a character, visual designs, voice performances, and just my plain old personal opinions, if I like them or not. So, don't take it too seriously, but that's all my rankings so far. Are we including Ascension characters in this? They're on here. Ascension's on here. Here's all the main characters from Ascension anyway. This is still everything we need to get to. For anybody who has not seen how massive this list is, it's 335 characters. Okay. We have the tenants from South Ashfield Heights. And these are the paintings of each of the tenants from their respective portraits in the artist's room. One of the tenants is an artist and would paint pictures of all the people living in South Ashfield Heights. And a lot of them I don't even really remember super well, to be honest. This is especially fun today where I'm like, my brain is not working at 100%. I've had really low blood pressure yesterday and today. I've been very dizzy and headachy and very out of it. So like, I am not firing on all cylinders. The only one I remember is the Gooner with all the magazines. So I think that would be Mike. And I think that is this guy. I think that's this painting. Was it this guy? No, it's this guy. This one. This one, because he's holding the porno magazine in his portrait. This is Mike. That's the pervert. Now, he's a weirdo who collects porno magazines, but he also gave information to Joseph Schreiber in exchange for rare porn magazines. So like, he was helping out Joseph, who I have in B tier, who's a very good investigative journalist. He made everybody outside of Silent Hill, like he kind of broke the news story of the cult existing in Silent Hill to be more public and widely known about. That didn't really happen because of information from this guy, but this guy was at least giving information to Joseph to help with his investigations. Collected porno magazines. I'm putting him in C tier. He's also weird. Creepy stalker person. This guy's holding a gun. I think this is the guy who lived below Richard Braintree, who had a model gun. He collected a bunch of model guns. He didn't have any real ones. He specifically pointed out how like Richard Braintree's gun was the real deal, but this guy had a bunch of model guns and used one of those model guns to shoot and kill a cat that belonged to another person who lived in the building. I think that's this woman here. So this guy goes in D tier. Fuck this guy. He's a psychopath and he's a cat killer and I hate him. I think this is the cat lady. It's hard for me to see some of these pictures. Because it's the cat that's wrapped up. This is the lady who cooks all the time. Isn't that the one with all the kids? I thought that's this one, because there's the family. There's like mom and dad and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids in the picture. That's this one. So that's the family with all the kids. This is the elderly couple. This is the guy who plays video games and lifts weights. This is the lady who cooks delicious smelling food all the time. This is the drunk guy, which is one of the few tenants that we actually hear voice from. We get a vocal performance for this guy. I think I'll keep that one for myself. That guy. It's that guy. This is the artist self-portrait. And this is the music guy. I don't know why they didn't use music guy's painting. They used his in-game model when you're looking out your window and you can see people in their rooms. So this is the cat lady. This has to be cat lady. She's a lady who lives by herself and has cats. And one of her adorable cats was shot by this crazy psychopath. I love cats. I love Cat Lady. B tier. B tier for Cat Lady. Justice for Cat Lady. The music nerd. As a musician, I appreciate it. I understand the guy who's got all the really nice stereos set up and speakers built into, like, all these giant speakers built into his walls, CDs and cassettes and vinyl laying around everywhere. Isn't he the one you see rocking out? Yeah. Hey man, look at me rocking out. I'm on the radio. Also B tier. Cat Lady reflects aspects of myself. Music Man reflects aspects of myself. I can't even talk. My brain is so melted today. I'm sorry. These are not going to be as descriptive as a lot of the stuff in part 1 and part 2. As said, my blood pressure is like 30 points lower than it normally is. I'm barely functioning today, but I wanted to rank some characters with you guys. Deverin, thank you so much for the 44 months. That is a long time, a lot of love and support. Thank you so much. Hey Nub, the Silent Hill 2 remake was one thing, but the Silent Hill 1 remake will be closer to the central lore of the series. Any concerns they'll mess with it too much? Just based on how they handled Silent Hill 2, I think they'll handle Silent Hill 1 pretty well if they have a similar mindset to it. Because even with Silent Hill 2, there was a lot of stuff when they brought Ito and Yamaoka on board that Ito and Yamaoka like really wanted to change. Like they apparently wanted to drastically change a lot of stuff for the remake to make it very, very different. And Bloober Team was smart enough to be like, no. These certain things we need to keep the same or very similar to the OG. Because these are such crucial, important things to the fans that remember this game and have all this respect for the game. Because, like, for people who worked on it, you know, they have this opportunity to kind of remake and give insight into the remake. You know, they're very different people now than when they made the game 24, 25 years ago. So, they had stuff in their minds that they wanted to be different, whereas Bloober Team approached it from the point of being fans of the original, just the way that it was. And clearly they had a lot of respect for it, while still wanting to change and include new stuff. But no, I think they'll be pretty faithful in terms of Silent Hill 1. I hope they do expand on some stuff. I hope they still get some core members of Team Silent to come in and consult with them. Especially people like Owaku and, if possible, Keiichiro Toyama, people who were really, really important to the story of Silent Hill 1, Harry Inaba, a lot of people who contributed in major ways to the lore and the story of Silent Hill 1. Hopefully they'll have some people like that on as consultants and use that to their advantage to kind of expand things that would be nice to be expanded while still being faithful to a lot of that established lore. Because yeah, Silent Hill 1 definitely is a little more critical to continuity when in terms of the other games. Whereas Silent Hill 2, it's very standalone. You can kind of mess with and tweak a lot of stuff with Silent Hill 2, and it doesn't really mess with other games in the series. Silent Hill 1 is closely tied to, obviously, Silent Hill 3, but also lots of aspects of the series. So I've got a lot of faith in them now. Much more than I did going into Silent Hill 2 Remake for the first time. I think Bloober Team has proven themselves to be, like, competent in terms of game development, as well as just respectful fans of the games. And I think they'll do a good job. But thank you for the 44 months. Artist. This was artist self-portrait. He's the boyfriend of Nurse Rachel, but he's not around Nurse Rachel enough for even people like Frank Sunderland to realize that he's Rachel's boyfriend. He just kind of hangs out in the apartment and does paintings. Paints all the other people who live in the apartment building with him. It's thanks to this guy that we even have these portraits and information about the other tenants in the apartment. So, I like Artist Man. Artist Man goes B tier. Drunk Man. Drunk Man, Drunk Man. Unlike a lot of the other tenants, points off for not painting Henry, though. He painted Joseph, just not Henry. I'm pretty sure he painted Joseph. They just didn't use the painting of Joseph. They used the in-game model, which is just basically an untextured bald silhouette. Drunk Man. So unlike a lot of the other tenants who live in South Ashfield Heights, we actually hear Drunk Man's voice when you're listening to the Skinned Mike cassette, which is where you hear Richard Braintree in kind of the aftermath of beating the shit out of Stalker Mike. And the Drunk Man wants to take some of Mike's clothes. Richard Braintree beats the shit out of Mike and makes him strip naked and puts most of his clothing into a trash can. And you can find the bloody clothes in a trash can in Braintree's room. But the cat lady takes some of the bloody clothing to wrap up her dead cat. And then the Drunk Man comes by and says, I think I'll keep that one for myself. And he's just got this, it's such a funny voice line. It always sticks out in my head. I love listening to that cassette just to hear Drunk Man. I think I'll keep that one for myself. Still B tier, but out of all of the tenants, just vocal performance alone, I love Drunk Man's performance. It's so funny. And he doesn't seem like a bad guy. He just drinks a lot. And he's got nothing but alcohol bottles when you go into his apartment. Hey, R7. I'm doing okay. Had a little bit of a rough day today and yesterday. My blood pressure's being weird, but I'm doing all right. I'm definitely not all here mentally, but we're ranking some Silent Hill characters and having fun. That's what matters. Lady who cooks. This person is described by the artist as being a woman, very, very corpulent woman who cooks a lot of delicious smelling food. Other than that, I don't know much about her. I don't remember the things that are in her apartment. Just not as memorable as some of these other tenants. I'm going to put her C tier. Top of C tier. or I guess right there below Steve Garland, because I can't move her. Video gamer. Again, some of these tenants, they're more relatable to me than others. Cat Lady, Music Man. This guy, all he does is play video games and lift weights, and not just any video games, vintage video games. Like, he's got classic consoles and cartridges and old school controllers all over his room, along with all of his weightlifting equipment. All he does is play Atari and ColecoVision and lift weights. Dragon Quest, yeah. Yeah. Eat hot chip and die. Eat hot chip and lie. But yeah, he lifts weights. He keeps himself healthy. He's big and strong. He plays all the classic video games. He's gonna take you back to the past and play those shitty games that suck ass. I'm gonna put him up here in B tier with these guys. Keep on lifting weights, playing games. The family with too many children. C tier. Wear a condom. I've lived in apartments before, and when you live in an apartment with thin fucking walls and thin fucking floors / ceilings, you just kind of hear everything that your neighbor does. And I've had some good neighbors where they're quiet and you hardly ever know that they're there. And then I've also been next to families like this, and it is fucking miserable. Their children are constantly jumping on and off of the couch and running through the house, running through the apartments. And when you live under that, it's just like stomp, 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 stomp all day long. Screaming, crying, parents yelling at the children. Absolute misery. Horrible, horrible experience. C tier. Wear a condom. Stop having kids. Elderly couple. This, again, very similarly, I've lived in some places, lived in some apartments. Not quite as run down as South Ashfield Heights, but not far off. Elderly couple, they're typically nicer to have as neighbors. They're usually more quiet. Sometimes they'll bring you food. I had an elderly couple who would bring food and stuff to me when I was living in apartments and didn't have a whole lot. And I would trade food with them when I was working in restaurants. I'd trade them some pizza and Indian food for home-cooked meals every once in a while. That was nice. Sometimes their hearing is not so good, so their TV or music will be kind of loud because they got to turn it way up to be able to hear anything. But other than that, chill elderly couple. Let's put you all in B tier. Okay. Walter's mother. Walter's parents. We really don't know much about Walter's mother. We know a little bit more about Walter's father. We get some voice lines from Walter's father. He was an abusive, controlling piece of shit who just wanted to abandon his baby and blamed Walter's mother for having a baby. I told you we shouldn't have had a baby, didn't I? Is one of his voice lines from Silent Hill 4 that always sticks out of my head. Father, I'm putting in D tier. Piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. I guess maybe C tier. He's similar to like an Andrew DeSalvo. Put them both in D tier. This is all their fault. He's not even like a likable villain or anything. There's not that much to him. They're horrible people. Walter's life would have been so much different if they had, even if they didn't want to raise Walter, they could have at least put him up for adoption the correct way, where he potentially wouldn't have wound up in like the Hope House, Wish House, cult orphanage. Like, that would have at least given Walter a better shot at a normal life. But also, just what a piece of shit for putting the blame on Walter's mother as if it's a one-person job making a baby. Drop him off at a normal orphanage and he wouldn't think the room is his mother. Yeah, they could have saved Walter a lot of strife and anguish and trauma by just going through the proper channels of having their baby put up for adoption instead of just abandoning him in a room. It also would have given Frank Sunderland an opportunity to not be such a weird fuck who collects the umbilical cord. Everything is kind of their fault. I mean, the mother, it's less of her fault. It really seems more of a Walter's father being the bigger asshole in the situation, and the mother just kind of is a victim of the father's abuse, in my opinion. But we also don't know a whole lot about her. I'm going to put her higher up. She can be over here with Amy Baldwin. But they're both going D tier. Everything in 4 is kind of their fault. Bob. Does anybody remember Bob from Silent Hill 4: The Room? Anybody remember Bob? I remember Bob, but I'm curious how many other people know who this character is, because I'm pretty sure it's just one note. It's literally one note. Bob was Walter's friend in the water prison. It was one of the other child prisoners that was forced to drink water with leeches in it. And I think they're literally only mentioned in a single note. I can pull up my Silent Hill 4 stuff and try to verify this. Not Bobby Randolph. Not Bob from Twin Peaks. Even trying to pull this up on like other Silent Hill things. Yeah. Into that in the Forest World Stone Diaries. That Andrew DeSalvo killed young Walter Sullivan's childhood friend Bob and made him drink water with leeches in it. So yeah, it's one diary entry that is readable by Eileen if she's possessed when you go to Forest World 2. That's the only time we get anything about Bob. It was another victim. It was another kid from the orphanage that Walter actually got along with. One of the few friends that Walter had over the course of his life, and was killed by that piece of shit DeSalvo and made to drink water with leeches. Bob deserved better. Bob deserved better, but there's also just not much to Bob. I would say, you know what? I'm gonna put Bob in C tier, and I'm going to demote Andrew DeSalvo to D tier, because he doesn't deserve to be in the same category as Bob. Fuck DeSalvo. Cop and detective. So the cop and the detective from Silent Hill 4. These are the guys who are investigating after Eileen gets attacked, who are familiar with the Walter Sullivan murders and the numbers carved in people's backs. They are trying to piece together what's going on with the new victims suddenly showing up, following Walter Sullivan's MO, and they're doing their best. They're not as well informed as like Joseph Schreiber, who actually took the time to try to delve deeper and figure things out and is more open-minded to the supernatural aspects of what's going on. The cop and the detective are just normal people trying to make logical sense of people getting murdered. So they're thinking that there's a copycat killer who's just copying Walter's MO. They're thinking that the Walter who killed himself in prison is like an imposter Walter, and the real Walter might still be out there somewhere. They're covering all their bases the way that somebody who was trying to figure this out from a logical standpoint would. They're trying to figure out something that is entirely mystical and supernatural and magical in ways that they could never really understand or comprehend. They still show up, they still do their job, but ultimately they're just kind of cleanup crew for Walter's victims and not doing enough investigation, not being enough open-minded to figure out what's really going on, as opposed to someone like Braintree. So I would say C tier. C tier for cop and detective. You're not terrible. You're not bad people. You're doing your best, but yeah, you're out of your element. You're way out of your league. I agree with that, Legate. Travis Grady. We're now in the Silent Hill Origins character era. Travis Grady. Now, I'm not a fan of Silent Hill Origins. Anybody who watches my stuff probably understands that. And Travis is a complicated dude. In a lot of ways, I would have really, really wanted Origins to be more about Travis, less about Alessa, ideally not about Alessa at all. Because Travis himself could have been such a more interesting character to focus on. Instead, they kind of dance around Travis and his past. Like, they're open enough with it. He had a very traumatic upbringing. His mother had some sort of either mental illness or was interacting with the other world to some degree because she believed she could walk through mirrors and interact with the other world, which of course we learn through Origins is a thing. So it was possibly something that the mother could have done for some reason that's never really explained. She believed that Travis was possessed by a demon. She thought that her son was a demon and tried to kill him by locking him in the house and turning on the oven and the stove to like gas him. Which is why Helen Grady wound up being committed to the sanitarium. So Travis had a really rough childhood. After that, he was raised for a few more years by his dad, but his dad was suffering a deep depression after committing his wife to a mental sanitarium, and then eventually hung himself in a hotel room right in front of Travis. Technically not right in front of Travis, like he did it while Travis was in the arcade. And then when Travis came back to the room, he just stood there in front of his dad's hanging corpse for 10 hours until a janitor found him, and fucked Travis up for life. After that, I mean, presumably he went and got his trucker's license and started driving trucks. And that's all he cares about. He just wants to do his job and drive truck. And that's his entire personality from then on. It's implied through the bad ending of Silent Hill Origins that Travis is the butcher, that he is a serial killer who has been murdering people because of his fucked up life and childhood trauma and everything else like that, which adds a whole nother layer to Travis's character that might not even be real. It's implied through the bad ending, but we don't know if that's the case because that entire aspect is kind of ignored for the good ending and for the rest of the story otherwise. So it's one of those weird things where, like, this is why I wanted the game to be more about him. This is why I wanted Origins to be more about him. That's an interesting thing. Like, it's one thing to have somebody like James be a killer in the sense that he's not a murderous person, but he made a very difficult decision to kill his wife one time and it fucked up his life forever. The idea of playing someone who is like a serial killer who is going back through all of their past trauma and everything and coming to that realization, and sort of redeeming themselves through defeating a cult god, and I don't know. Origins is such a weird mixed bag of ideas, and none of them are really fleshed out correctly. So it's just kind of a flawed game to analyze anyway. Travis, he could have been so much better. He's an interesting character. I like the concept behind Travis. But Origins sucks, and it sucks at telling his story. And it should have been more about him rather than Alessa. I think I'm going to put him in B tier. In fact, like right up here, kind of with the Jameses. He's middle of the road, no pun intended, because he's a trucker. Like, I want to like his character. I want to like Origins more, but Origins was a very troubled game development. They basically had to rewrite the entire story in a week. And it shows, especially when it comes to like the depth of writing for the characters and the consistency of the writing for the characters. Travis's mother, Helen Grady. She's a horrible person who tried to kill her son. She thought he was a demon. She claims to be able to go through mirrors and interact with the other world. We don't ever know if that's actually a real thing or not. But clearly in the game, Travis can supposedly do that. So maybe it really was something that she was capable of. They had some sort of inherent ability for interacting with this spiritual plane, the other world, which is especially impressive when you consider the other world shouldn't even exist in that form until the very end of the game when Alessa splits her soul. Again, that's kind of the fault of Origins for just being rushed and poorly written. Her boss fight design is kind of cool. Her voice performances are a little funny. When you kill her, she screams like twice. They play the scream sound twice for some reason. And she's got like a British, I mean, it's Climax UK who developed the game, so it is a lot of British actors in Silent Hill Origins, and sometimes it really, really comes through the dialogue, and Helen Grady's is probably the most noticeable one. When little Travis is Travis is having his flashback to being little Travis when he's encountering his mom in the sanitarium, and he's like, "Mama, they said you were dead." It's like, "No, not dead, locked away," and it's like very British sounding. I'm thinking high C tier, low B tier. She's, again, kind of interesting in terms of the story. And in terms of how that allowed Travis to have such a fucked up life, ruined the life of her husband. We're going to put her in C tier, just kind of randomly up here. Also, in terms of C tier, Cheryl. There we go. Cheryl's at the top of C. He's there. She could actually just be British living in America. True. There's no law against that. Not yet, anyway. I'm not gonna expand on that joke. That was already foolish. Travis's dad. So he started becoming exceptionally depressed. His wife tried to kill his son. She was committed to a sanitarium. He was a good husband. He still went and visited her. Like, he tried. He tried to keep seeing her and hoped that she would improve her health and get out of there someday, that they could be a family again someday. And after so many years of that, he just couldn't do it anymore. He became addicted to prostitutes. He would go to seedy motels and sleep with women of the night. And then decided he was going to commit seppuku while Travis was playing pinball in the arcade, and just let his son walk in on his corpse. Again, things that are like, you could have handled this situation so much better. I understand being in a deep depression, having to live through these horribly traumatic things, but you handled it in such a horrible, selfish way with no consideration for your son. Like, put him up for adoption, similar to Walter's parents. Go through the proper channels, put him up for adoption if you're gonna fucking go out the way you go out. Something. Do something better than what you did, you piece of shit. We'll put him next to Helen, just below Helen, because he's not even as interesting as Helen. Like, I feel bad for the guy, but he didn't even walk through mirrors into other worlds or anything cool. He was just depressed and slept with prostitutes and then played Sudoku and let his son find his body. Who is this? What is this? Oh, the butcher. I legitimately couldn't tell what I was looking at here. I was not seeing this as like a sideways profile shot of the butcher. Okay. Some of this artwork is a little hard to tell what I'm looking at. The Butcher. So I talked about how iconic Pyramid Head was when I put him in S tier. I talked about how they tried to copy this type of character into so many other characters and failed spectacularly. And the Butcher was one of the first examples of trying to copy the Pyramid Head type of character, and failing spectacularly. He's just a worse Pyramid Head. He's a less interesting, less iconic, less threatening Pyramid Head. He's laughably weak. He's laughably weak in Origins, and he's stupid overpowered in Book of Memories, where he can just throw his fucking knife at you from across the screen when he's not even on screen. You just get hit by an incredibly fast, impossible to dodge ranged attack that kills you in one hit. Terrible. The only mildly, even remotely kind of interesting thing about the Butcher is that it might be Travis. If you're to go off of the bad ending, it's a representation of the murderous side of Travis. And again, that's not even confirmed to be a real thing. It's just part of a essentially alternate bad ending to Origins. So I'm putting him in D tier. He's a horrible copy of something so cool, like to try to rip off Pyramid Head with such a lazy design, with such a bad way of introducing him, such a bad encounter of fighting him, such a terrible use of him in Book of Memories. Trash. D tier trash. Alchemilla board. The hospital board. The Alchemilla board of supporters, or board of directors, essentially. That's not even including Kaufman. At that point, he hadn't been promoted to that level back during Origins. And if you're going off of all the notes that you find throughout Alchemilla Hospital in Origins, they're cutting budget. They're telling their doctors and nurses to turn away patients. Literally, there's a note that says, unless they're dying in your arms, don't book them in. They're cutting the hospital budget to pay for parties where they womanize. There's a note that talks about grab a trainee nurse, they go quick. The Alchemilla board is pretty fucking horrible. They kick patients out on benches. Yeah, a lot of people don't pick up on that detail. You find the notes where they're talking about don't book any patients into the hospital unless they are literally dying in your arms. So what happens to Travis after he escapes a burning building and passes out from smoke inhalation? You hear the sirens of an ambulance coming to pick him up, but he's not dying. He'll recover. He's just got some lung damage from the smoke. He wasn't burned or anything. So where does he wake up? In a hospital bed being treated? No, he wakes up on a bench outside of the hospital, right outside. They literally checked him in the ambulance, saw that he wasn't dying, and didn't book him in as per the Alchemilla board directions, and left him on a bench outside of Alchemilla Hospital. It's a great detail in Origins that a lot of people who play Origins don't even pick up on. But, yeah, the Alchemilla board. They're shitty. They suck. D tier. D tier Alchemilla board. They also eventually promote Michael Kaufman to the board of directors, and then we know what happens there. He's horrible. So they put terrible, terrible people in charge. They have no respect for patients. They have no respect for the well-being of the hospital itself. Welcome. Oh shoot, I didn't realize we're not counting Origins characters as separate. Yeah, I didn't notice that either until we got to Origins. That like we don't have Origins Kaufman as a separate character. We don't have Origins Lisa or Dahlia. They're all wrapped in to how they are in Silent Hill 1, which I heavily disagree with. First of all, Origins' representation of those characters is just not those characters. It's not a fair representation of Lisa or Dahlia or Kaufman. Even Alessa is like evil and vengeful in Origins, which is not her character at all in Silent Hill 1. She is a victim, doing her best just to stop her mother. So, like, I'm not going to count those characters at all, and I'm not going to adjust my placement of the Silent Hill 1 characters with consideration to how they are in Origins. I just don't count it at all. We're going to pretend that doesn't exist. Lightning round of assessing those characters quickly, assuming their canon appearances are worth talking about. No, I refuse. I think I've covered a lot of my feelings on that. You can go watch my Silent Hill Origins story playthroughs from over the years where I talk about those characters. Very, very poor representations. Basically not the same characters other than name only. But don't you know Lisa's gonna be a star? Yeah. Sure. Lisa's got some funny lines of dialogue where she sounds very Texan. So if anything, I'm gonna give Lisa more points for sounding like a Texas accent. I'm gonna be a star. Everyone else I'm not even considering. We have too many other characters on this list to get through. Dr. Harris. I think this was the main doctor who was overseeing Helen Grady. Let me check my notes. Dr. Harris's office. His is the key from the doll puzzle patient thing, the pill cabinet puzzle, which is like my favorite puzzle in Origins, by the way. It's one of the only good puzzles, one of the only main things. Yeah, so he was the main doctor in charge of caring for Helen Grady, like I thought. Yeah, you don't really find a whole lot of notes about other doctors. We just don't know a whole lot about him. We get little bits of voice clips from him in some of the flashbacks with Helen Grady, where she's talking about going through the mirrors, or her son being a demon, or give me back my son, when can I see my son? But not super memorable performance-wise, not super memorable in terms of notes. D tier. D tier Dr. Harris. He's not quite don't care about them tier, because like there's at least some minor value to the character, being the person who looked over Helen Grady and was trying to understand her issues. But Mr. Bryant. Mr. Bryant. I don't remember Mr. Bryant. Look through my notes. The neighbor. Mr. Bryant was the neighbor to the Grady family, who initially called the authorities to come and get Travis out of the house when it was filling up with gas and arrest Helen Grady. So Mr. Bryant is just, he's the neighbor. Good on you, Mr. Bryant, for calling the cops when shit was going down. You put in more effort than Miss K. Gordon, where you cared enough to call the police when your neighbors were doing something fucked up. So, bottom of C tier. I barely remember who you are, but you put in more effort than Miss K. Gordon. That's got to count for something. Maybe D tier, but still above Miss K. Gordon. Although, technically, if I have to check my notes to even remember who somebody is, should I just be tossing them down here and played but don't remember them? Am I allowed to check my notes? Is this an open book test? I'm going to leave that to your judgment call, chat. Is this an open book test? Am I allowed to look through all of my years of story playthrough notes to verify who people are if I don't remember who they are right away? Or should I, if I don't remember who they are at all, should I just put them in the category for don't remember? Rubs Gin. Think you gotta look at notes to see if you knew at some point? Is time a constraint? Tier them as don't remember, but then look at your notes after. That's an idea. We could just put them as don't remember, and then I'll go through and check my notes all at once after I've gone through everybody else. I think that's a good way to handle it, Oleander. I've already pulled up his notes, so going forward from here, if I don't know the character right off the top of my memory, clearly that they're not memorable enough, so they go into played but don't remember, and then I'll go through my notes, because obviously at some point I wrote down notes about them, but yeah, that's fair. That sounds fair and balanced to me. And getting right into that, Bill Ortega. I feel like I remember who these characters are. These are all the people from the theater. Bill Ortega and Tony are the actors in The Tempest, the stage play of The Tempest. And then you also have The Tempest director and the actress, who doesn't get a name. But they're doing a showing, a play for Shakespeare's The Tempest. Alessa sneaks into the theater when she's not supposed to be there, and she's watching them rehearse. Who got the nosebleed? I'm pretty sure that was Tony, because in the note, there's a note that you find about the actor who had to wear the suit for Caliban. So I'm pretty sure Tony was the Caliban actor wearing the suit who scared Alessa, and Alessa gave him a nosebleed. Whereas Bill Ortega, I think, was the other actor who we hear reciting lines and getting a headache. Bill the hence, hang not on my garments. I think that's Bill. Or wait, is that the person in the scene where they say, like, Tony, do you need to take a break? Do I have it backwards? See, this is where I want to check my notes, because I vaguely think I know who these characters are, but I don't remember exactly. And I'm making an executive decision that I can check my notes on this. Because I think these are those characters, and if I'm wrong, according to my notes, then I'll put them in don't remember. Bill Ortega was the costume designer. He wasn't one of the actors. He was the person who was designing the costumes. So D tier. Well, he made a good costume. He made a scary Caliban costume that scared Alessa. But I was mistaking who it was in terms of my memory. D tier. D tier. I was correct about Tony. Tony is the actor playing Caliban. Scares Alessa. And then the Tempest director, who we hear telling Tony, like, do we need to take a break? C tier. Put on a good show, scared a little girl, traumatized her for life, made her manifest giant dead cow monsters. Good job. Actress. Don't remember. I can remember the scene with Tony. I can remember the notes about the costume design. I can remember the notes about everything else. Who was the unnamed actress? And when was she mentioned in Origins? Don't remember. Moving on. I'll look it up in my notes at the end. The motel manager. This is another minor character, but they are a weird, creepy piece of shit. They have secret tunnels in the backs behind all of the hotel rooms, the motel rooms, in order to peek in and look at people and take photos. There's like photo cameras and video cameras where he was recording people in their rooms when they were supposed to be trusting them for privacy. Basically just a shitty person who runs a seedy motel, and because of that allowed some people to die, be murdered, and take their own lives. D tier, piece of shit. D tier, piece of shit. Creepy. Don't like you. That's it for Origins. Homecoming. Homecoming characters. Homecoming is one of my, out of the more like mainline series, when we're not talking about stuff like Book of Memories and Ascension, Homecoming is one of my lower rated Silent Hill games in terms of character and story. It's one of my favorite games to speedrun, if not my favorite Silent Hill game to speedrun. The speedruns for Homecoming are really, really fun, very technical, very satisfying to pull off technical tricks and sequence break. But characters, strictly characters. I don't like Alex Shepard. Everything is kind of his fault. And I know that that's shitty to say for somebody who, like, his whole purpose in life would have just been get sacrificed. Like, just get sacrificed, idiot. And everything would have been fine. And instead, he invites his little brother out onto a boat, gets jealous over his parents' affection towards his little brother, teases his little brother by stealing the family crest ring from him, and because of that, his brother hits his head, falls into the lake, and drowns. And because of that, everyone fucking dies. The entire town is fucked up because you were a stupid idiot. And then just the weird, poor writing of Homecoming. How does he know all of this? How does he know all of the combat? His parents didn't love him. He was supposed to be a sacrificial boy. They weren't going to bother teaching him things. They were not going to take the time to impart skills into him. For all of you fans who are like, oh, his dad was in the military, maybe his dad taught him. They only kept him around because they needed a sacrifice. All of their love and attention was going to Josh. They wouldn't have taken the time to teach him anything. Least of all, defensive skills to fight back when the day of sacrifice came. Doesn't make a lot of sense as a character. For some reason, Elle loved him, or at least liked him, showed some sort of interest in him. So, I mean, I don't know, there must be something about him, but we don't get to know a whole lot about Alex before everything went to shit. Kind of boring. Looks like Nick Lachey. Really bad voice delivery. Voice performances in Homecoming for most of the characters are not very good. But Alex, especially for being the protagonist. Where am I, man? Really don't like him. Really don't, not a Shepard fan. Not an Alex Shepard fan. I'm putting Alex here at the bottom of C tier. All the Homecoming fans, I know you're gonna come for me, just the same way all the Silent Hill 2 fans were upset about me putting your favorite wife killer in B tier. But Alex Shepard, Nick Lachey, he's going in C tier. So he's a C tier boy for me. Just such a fuck up. And not even nearly as interesting. Like, James is a big fuck up, but James is at least interesting as a person, as a character. There's depth to him. There's interesting facets to him. That's why he's like up here in upper B tier area, which since I'm kind of rearranging where stuff is, a lot of people get the wrong impression that because James is in B tier that he's like super low for me. He's up there. He's almost A tier for me, but he's just such a selfish, stupid fuck up. Alex is a selfish, stupid fuck up without any of the personality or interesting attributes of James. He's bottom of C. He's bottom of C tier. Josh. He's very annoying. He's like the stereotypical spoiled, annoying little brother. And not a fan of him either. Not a fan of the Shepherd family at all. Like, there's other much more deserving and interesting characters and families in terms of Homecoming's history and Shepherd's Glen's history. Josh just kind of sucks. He wants his Robbie. He's not even allowed to go there. Like, that's such a stupid thing. You spend such a big chunk of the game just learning how specifically cut off from Silent Hill Shepherd's Glen had to be. No one was allowed to go there. No one was allowed to know anything about it. Like, why would he care about Robbie? Why would he care about the mascot for an amusement park that he's never allowed to go anywhere near? Josh is so stupid. I hate him. You're just as bad as Alex. You're going C tier. You're less of a fuck up, I guess. I'll put you just above your brother. But you're annoying. And you're stupid. And I hate you. Shepherd mom. What's her name? Adam is the father. Was it Miriam? No, it's not Miriam. Lillian? It's another Bible reference. Lillian Shepherd. That's it. Because it's a play on Lilith. Lillian. That's right. It's Adam and Lilith. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Lillian Shepherd. So I don't like the Shepherds in general. I would say out of all of the Shepherd family, she is probably the one who is at least somewhat interesting. But she married into this, and like, she must have known, right? At some point in her life, Adam Shepherd must have explained the cult ritual. We've got to sacrifice somebody every 50 years, and guess what? That's going to happen to one of our children. So they just kind of pick their favorite and go along with it. She didn't divorce him after that. She didn't say no, fuck that. She has one of the best line deliveries in all of Homecoming. Her voice actress, I don't like a lot of the voice acting in Homecoming, but I will say Lillian Shepherd has one of the best line deliveries. 90% of her dialogue is very boring and very flat, where she's supposed to be very distant and basically, like, you know, detached from reality over the situation that's happening. But when she snaps at Alex, when Alex is like, I know all about Silent Hill, and Lillian fucking turns to her stupid little fuck up son and says, you don't know anything about Silent Hill. That line alone makes me want to put her in a higher tier. It's such a good line, first of all, and her delivery is so on point. But is that enough for her to be B tier? Above Alex and Josh? I don't think so. I would definitely put her a little more like mid-range B tier or C tier. She's got some interesting stuff about her, but that one line, that one good delivery, it's not enough, but she's definitely the Shepard family member that I like a lot more out of everyone. Hey, what's up, Wexford? Good morning. Hang on, my cat is getting into things. Could you stop? Go lay down somewhere, buddy. Hey, come here. Come here, Ziggy. You being a butt. Anyway, Adam Shepard. Adam Shepard has to sacrifice one of his kids. That's a difficult position to be put in. He's a hard-ass military guy. He looks like John Locke from Lost. Most of his voice lines are very boring and dry. He gets split in half. I like how you can see his flat 2D organs. Only if you play the North American release or like one of the international releases. It was censored for Australia and Germany, I think, where they removed all the gore. Stereotypical mean dad, Cotton Hill wannabe. Even comparing him to someone like Cotton Hill from King of the Hill is not, like, that's a disservice to Cotton Hill. He's boring. Yeah, he's kind of a boring character, especially for how important he should have been to the story and everything else. He's just unlikable. He's super unlikable. So, bottom of C. Bottom of C, maybe even... he's not bad enough to go into D. But he's worse than both of his sons. For sure. Mayor Bartlett has to sacrifice his son, Joey Bartlett. Treats him nice while he's alive, knowing that he's going to have to sacrifice him, buys him whatever he wants, gives him a watch, a very expensive watch, and then has to bury him alive. He was one of the only... His son, Joey, was one of the only friends of Josh. He was constantly drunk. He was a terrible mayor. He was having an affair. That's true. Yeah, he also owns the vineyard, the Bartlett family vineyard. So that's why he's always drinking wine. He was having an affair with the wife of a sick man. There was a sick guy in a wheelchair who might be one of these characters. Was that Clayton Doyle? It's been a while since I've played Homecoming, and I'm trying to remember what exactly some of these minor characters are. Again, I won't check my notes. If I don't remember, they're going in don't remember. We'll check the notes at the very end of everything. But yeah, Mayor Bartlett. Terrible mayor. He's not even really the mayor. Judge Holloway, Margaret Holloway, is pulling the strings mostly. And he's just sort of a puppet. Wife was Carol, I think. I want to say that was Clayton Doyle and Carol. Which, this might be Carol. Alex looking at a hole in a wall. I think this was who was implied to be Carol in Homecoming. That's her hole. Gross. Mayor Bartlett. D tier. D tier. Although he's got a really funny line, he does have a really funny line where Alex is trying to give him shit. He's like, how could you let the town get so messed up? And Mayor Bartlett is like, look here, you little shit. And he calls Alex a little shit. And I kind of want to give him some points for that. Just because he's got a couple funny line readings. I think D tier is appropriate for Mayor Bartlett. That feels right. That feels right to me. This is one of those images where I'm like, what am I looking at here? What am I looking at here? A treehouse? The treehouse in the backyard? Is that supposed to be... No, because that's... So, hold on. Let me try to figure this out. Dr. Fitch... Scarlet Fitch... Isn't that the treehouse? Joey, maybe. That might be Joey Bartlett. The kids are next to their respective parents. So yeah, Mayor Bartlett, and then... Sorry, I zoomed in too far. This one. It's just like a little treehouse. So that's probably supposed to be Joey. Because then we have Dr. Fitch and Scarlet Fitch, Margaret Holloway, Elle Holloway, and Elle's sister, Nora Holloway, Wheeler, Curtis, and then side characters. Okay, so Joey Bartlett, I don't know. We don't know anything about him. His dad gave him whatever he wanted. He had to be buried alive. He was friends with Josh, and that's like everything we learn about Joey. He played in the treehouse. C tier. D tier. Don't care. I mean, his sacrifice is important to the story. It's not that I don't care about him, it's that we don't know about him. And again, this is a case of Homecoming being really, really slapped together. Because there's so many story points and plot points that just got straight up cut before the game could come out. There was supposed to be an entire other founding family. The Wheeler family was supposed to be one of the other founding families that got cut from the final release of the game. The Travis from Origins, the Travis Grady cameo at the start of Homecoming, that character model was not supposed to be Travis Grady. That was supposed to be a local hunter who lived in Shepherd's Glen, who was separate from all the cult shit going on. And there was going to be a whole sequence with Alex out there with the hunter in the woods, learning all the truth about the town. That got cut. There was supposed to be more about the kids that got cut. There was a ton of stuff that got cut from Homecoming. mainly because of time and budget, and they had the audacity to think that they were going to make a trilogy. They thought Homecoming was going to be so successful that they were like, we'll cut all these things and then we'll put it in a second and third game. Yeah, that didn't fucking happen. So the kids deserve a tier. They got enough shit. C tier. I mean, I've got Cheryl Mason in fucking C tier as well. These are characters who are like important enough to their stories, have some interesting elements about them, but I wish we could have known more about them as characters. Yeah. And I would say in terms of that, bottom of C tier for Joey. Dr. Fitch. Dr. Fitch has to kill his daughter, Scarlet Fitch, who just wants to play with dolls. He saved Alex's life. Alex was drowned. That's a good point, Rachel. When there's a newspaper article about a school bus full of children that got swept up in a flood, and Dr. Fitch, because he knew what would happen if Alex died outside of the terms of the sacrifice, the family sacrifice was too important to the town. So all of the children who were meant to be sacrificed needed to be saved, needed to be kept alive until it was their respective time to be sacrificed as part of the ritual. And knowing that, Dr. Fitch braved the flood and saved Alex when he was a child from dying in the school bus in the flood. Voice performance, I like the actor. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I like the voice performance for Dr. Fitch. He's weird and he's creepy. And I don't know, the whole little sequence. Why was he in his tidy whities? Because he's weird and he's creepy. He's bleeding himself out. At least he kept those on. I'm sure they probably wanted to have him just be naked with cuts all over him. But if you also think about it, Dr. Fitch would have just kind of fucked things up for everyone anyway. A few of the families, this is where we start getting into the writing of Homecoming as a whole, and not just the individual characters. So for like the Shepherds, they have 2 kids. We gotta sacrifice Alex, but we can raise Josh, and then Josh will have kids and grandkids, and they'll keep the sacrifice every 50 years going for the Shepherd family, right? The Holloways, they had Elle, they had Nora. Nora had to be sacrificed. Elle would get to live, have kids, have grandkids, keep the sacrifice for the Holloway family going. What was Dr. Fitch's plan? He had 1 daughter. What was Mayor Bartlett's plan? He had 1 Joey. Like, even if the Shepherds hadn't fucked everything up, they pretty much would have just been screwed 50 years on. They would have gotten another 50 years out of it if everything had gone according to plan, but then everything would have been fucked up the next 50 years. Like, this ritual is not sustainable from the way the families are written. You would think that all of these founding families have like 12 kids each. What determined a firstborn? Firstborn had nothing to do with it. It wasn't about being firstborn. It was just the one that you picked. You would choose. You would be the person who realizes that in 50 years, or, you know, whatever point of time has passed, however many years have elapsed, where you're like, oh man, 15 years from now, it's going to be the 50-year anniversary and we've got to sacrifice somebody. That's going to be one of our kids. So it's like, there's nothing specific in any of it that says that it's a firstborn. It's just who you choose in your family to be that sacrifice. But again, that's poor writing on Homecoming's part. Anyway, Dr. Fitch, he knew enough about the rituals and everything like that to try and save Alex Shepard. But also didn't care enough to have multiple children just in case something went wrong and to keep everything going 50 years after having to sacrifice Scarlet. He's more interesting than, I would say, like Mayor Bartlett. I would say he's kind of like, he's not as interesting as Lillian. I'm gonna put him like here. He's in C tier. He's kind of middle C tier. He's better than the Shepherds, except for Lillian. You know. Scarlet Fitch. Loved dolls so much. Should we also be judging the kids based on their boss forms? I didn't even consider this. Should we be ranking the children based on their boss forms as well? Because if we're including Sepulchre as part of Joey Bartlett, Joey moves up to like B. It's how we know them. I judge children based on their boss forms all the time. Okay. Because the boss forms of them are not like a separate thing, and it's just kind of implied, we're going to judge them based on their boss forms as well, in which case Joey Bartlett goes from a C tier to a B tier just for the Sepulchre boss and design. It's a creepy fucking tree grown from a child who was buried alive and crushes the shit out of his dad. That's worth a B tier. That's definitely worth a B tier. And that means that Scarlet Fitch, I'm going to say, is A tier. Scarlet, as a boss, is one of the only fucking neat things about Homecoming. One of the coolest boss themes, one of the coolest boss designs, one of the most interesting fights. Just a very tragic character. Has to be murdered by her father, and compared to the other methods of sacrifice, has to be dismembered while alive, and then comes back as a horrible, gigantic, naked doll and bites her father in fucking half. Bites his head off. Such a cool boss fight. So, if we're counting the boss forms of the children as their ranking, Scarlet Fitch is definitely an A tier for me. One of the best things about Homecoming. One of the few good things about Homecoming. Judge Holloway. So, I like a good villain. I've ranked some other villains. I still think in terms of like villains, Walter Sullivan, you know, Eddie, Vincent, they're some of the best. Judge Holloway, I can respect what she was trying to go for. She's trying to maintain the rituals so that everyone else who lives in Shepherd's Glen can live a happy, peaceful, normal life in a town that isn't Silent Hill, that doesn't look or act like Silent Hill. They went through the trouble, like everyone's ancestors went through the trouble of separating from the Silent Hill and the cult to form Shepherd's Glen, and she was just trying to do her duty as the descendant for the Holloway family to maintain that status quo, to maintain that ritual by any means necessary. And then once it started to go wrong, she was like, we have to go back to the old ways. Let's just go back to the cult style of things, get a bunch of guys in gas masks and mining suits to start kidnapping people in the town and forcing them to be cultists or die. She was trying to have the town be normal for basically everyone except for the founding families. Grove, thank you for the raid. Judge Holloway was trying. She failed. She's again kind of a fuck up. Like, this is again kind of poor writing on Homecoming's end, not just on the character's end. People like her who knew exactly what the Shepherds had messed up and knew exactly who Alex Shepard was. People like Curtis who would have also been fully aware. Like, why would you just let Alex walk around? Why would you even fake the I'm still the nice mother of your pseudo girlfriend sort of role at that point by the time Alex comes back to the town? It doesn't make any sense unless she's incredibly stupid. She's got a couple good lines. She's got some line deliveries. I like her voice actress. Appearance-wise, she's one of the worst designs. She looks like a fucked up animatronic. I mean, most of the people in Homecoming kind of move and look like messed up animatronics, but Judge Holloway especially is really bad. She's got one of the most violent scenes, drilling into Alex Shepard's leg, and then drilling into his eye. Failing those QTEs and looking at those death scenes are, again, the gory death scenes when you fail QTEs are some of the coolest parts of Homecoming, and like, I've got to give her at least a point or two for that. Because she shoves a drill into Alex's face, and it's awesome. But she's kind of a stupid villain. Kind of a poorly written character who's would have been a more interesting character if the game had been better written overall. But I think she's maybe a high C tier. I'd put her above Lillian. I think she's a more interesting character than Lillian Shepard. Elle Holloway. Judge Holloway's older daughter. Genuinely was just a friend of Alex. You like Elle? She was just trying to help. She's really annoying in the sewers. And in terms of gameplay, I really don't like that part. I don't like Elle in the sewers. It's not really her fault, I guess, but she annoys me because of that segment. Outside of that, but where did you put Eileen? I mean, fair. Eileen's an A tier, and she's pretty annoying in terms of gameplay. And even gameplay considered, I would say Eileen makes up for all of that with how cool of a character she is in terms of writing, in terms of design. Elle, she's definitely not that cool of a character. She seems like a good person. She genuinely was just trying to be a nice person, a friend of Alex's and other people in the town. She seemed pretty clueless to everything going on, like didn't know anything, but it seems like the family histories were kept pretty hush-hush. Most people, unless you were a core part of the previous generation, like just you weren't aware, so I can't really put that on her for like not knowing things. She was originally going to be Laura. I don't know if we count anything about this. In original Homecoming scripts, Elle was written to be a grown-up version of Laura from Silent Hill 2. She's not in the final game. Obviously, that wouldn't make any sense if she was an orphan that's not even part of the fucking bloodline. To keep the Holloway family going. So, just a bit of trivia. I don't think it really counts towards my ranking. I'm thinking about it too hard. C tier. I like you more than the Shepherds. I would say I like her more than Lillian and Holloway. I like her more than her mom and Alex's mom. If Elle wasn't aware of the dark side of the town, how would she have continued on the ritual eventually? She would have been made aware of it when her mother basically explained, we sacrificed Nora so that you could live and continue on the family line. Like, if the Shepherds hadn't fucked everything up, Elle was going to be made aware. I would assume anybody who was continuing on the generations would have been made aware of their responsibility for the next 50 years. But then the Shepherds fucked everything up, so... Then we have Nora Holloway, Elle's sister. She was strangled to death, suffocated by Margaret Holloway, which led to her becoming asphyxia. So again, we're counting the boss forms for the sacrificed family members as part of their ranking. So this was Human Centipede before Human Centipede. Everybody always harps on Asphyxia in Homecoming as being a Human Centipede ripoff. Homecoming came out before Human Centipede. Human Centipede ripped off Homecoming. Asphyxia was our first introduction to that type of creature design before Human Centipede tried to popularize it. And for that, I really applaud Asphyxia. It's a creepy fucking design. Thematically, the idea that she has all of these arms that are covering her mouth, and that she was smothered, she was suffocated, strangled to death. And the way that you kill Asphyxia, other than chopping her booty with a fire axe, the last thing that you do to kill her, Alex jumps on the back of her and pulls the hands away from her mouth, forcing her to breathe, which kills her. Like, she's only able to exist through suffocation. And once that suffocation ends, she dies as a creature. Like, interesting character boss sacrifice, like in terms of all the founding family sacrifice methods. Thematically, I really like that boss. Visually, I really like that boss. I wouldn't say it's as good as Scarlet, but still pretty cool. I would put her up here in high B tier somewhere, right about there. Deputy Wheeler. I love this man. I love this character. He's such a normal person. I love the normal person within the Silent Hill games where you've got people who are like kind of reacting to this crazy situation around them. And then you have the person who's actually like, what the fuck is going on? And that is Wheeler. And there's so much to his character that didn't make it into the game. The alien ending, I knew it. So does it, like, if you're not super well informed about a lot of the supplementary materials for Homecoming did the same thing as Silent Hill 4, where Silent Hill 4 had a bunch of extra notes and things that were added onto the Konami website to further explain Walter's victims and more of Joseph Schreiber's investigations. So like, it was all this extra information that didn't make it into the game, and they threw it up on a website instead. Homecoming did the same thing. There were character diaries that were written after and put up onto a website. And if you go through and read all the character diaries, specifically Wheeler's character diaries, he was a conspiracy theorist. He was a complete tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist who thought there was all this crazy government cover-up stuff going on to explain the fog and the weird stuff in the town and the weird stuff in Silent Hill. Like, all of these things were things that he believed in because he was a conspiracy nut, which is why he comes out saying, "I knew it," at the end of the UFO ending. Because he did know. He believed in aliens. He was a conspiracy theorist. And it was a little aspect of his character that would have been great to actually see better portrayed in the game itself, rather than all this stuff that was just cut and thrown onto a website after the fact. I love the way his reactions are. I love how important him living or dying is. He's such a critical character that Homecoming's endings are basically made up from just a few choices, which are like whether or not you willingly kill your mom, Alex's mom, whether or not you willingly forgive Alex's father, and whether or not you try to help Wheeler survive. I like how he immediately pulls a shotgun out of his ass as soon as you bust him out of his cell. I like that he immediately points a shotgun at Alex. I like that he's questioning what's going on with Alex. He's like, the mayor's fucking dead. What happened? And he's trying to get Alex to tell the truth. And it's like, yeah, there was a tree and it turned into a monster and it absolutely killed him. And if you tell the truth, Wheeler's like, well, damn, you've been seeing the monsters and crazy shit too. I guess this is really happening. I'll let you out of there and you can help me. Doesn't the Wheeler choice only come into play when you've made the bad choices for both Alex's mom and dad? No. Like, him living or dying plays an impact on the ending you get, regardless of those choices. He's that important. It will still impact the ending, like whether you've done the bad choices or the good choices. So I like Wheeler. I like Wheeler a lot. I like his voice performances. His character model is based on the actor Forrest Whitaker. So I mean, I don't know. I love the character. I love this character. And he got screwed out of being a bigger part of the game. He got screwed out of being a bigger part of the game because the Wheeler family was originally going to be the 5th founding family of Shepherd's Glen. In the first drafts of Homecoming, the Wheeler family was supposed to be part of it. Their family was going to have been the people who ran the lumber mill. And there was going to be this entire lumber mill level that was all focused around that, and Wheeler talking about how he didn't want to continue the family business, became a cop instead. All of that got cut. They removed the Wheeler family from being one of the founding families altogether and just had Wheeler be a random deputy who just happened to live in the town and wasn't involved with the founding family stuff. So he kind of got screwed out of being a bigger part of the game. He's an absolute boss. He helps Alex even when he really shouldn't. Alex doesn't deserve it. But he fights the fucking monsters like they're nothing. He beats the shit out of them. He goes right up to him and hits him with the butt of his gun. Even when he's not shooting them. He's unkillable. If you stand there, oh no, why am I dropping frames? I mean, oh no, my internet. Internet, please. Hold on. We've got some nasty storms rolling through and my internet might be trying to cut out. I don't know how well you guys can hear me. At least there's not a lot of visual stuff going on, so hopefully the audio is still coming through. There we go. It's restabilizing. Okay, we got to get to a stopping point here. Stream's cutting up a little bit. Thought that was my end. No. That we've got storms in the area. My internet may potentially cut out here. It's stable now. It's stable now, but it might not be for very long. So, anyway, I love Alex. I love Deputy Wheeler. I don't think he's quite S tier. I don't think I could feel good about myself putting anything from Homecoming in S tier, to be honest. But he is definitely like high A tier. He's up here with Douglas in terms of side characters who I just really, really like. I feel like they complement the other characters super well. Well performed, well acted, cool design. I like him. I like him a lot. I don't think I could ever put anything from Homecoming in S tier. It's just too flawed. But Wheeler is awesome. A for awesome. He goes into A tier. We've got one more main character with a portrait from Homecoming. 180 of the century? Yeah, not Alex. Wheeler. My brain is melting. My blood pressure is low. We gotta wrap this up. My internet's trying to die. Wheeler's an A tier. He's a conspiracy nut. I love him. Curtis Ackers. He's another dumb idiot, but I love his character design and his performance. There's some really great lines with Curtis when he's interacting with Alex. Alex first meeting him in the junkyard and him just grunting and not wanting to pay Alex any attention is fantastic. Why does he give a gun to someone they're trying to kill? Because he's a fucking dumbass. Exactly what Rachel said. He's an absolute idiot. This is one of those things that's just poorly written. Similar to Judge Holloway. As soon as they saw Alex, they should have just killed him. Like, there's no reason to humor Alex at that point. Your town is already fucked. There was no reason to let him continue walk around, let alone give him a working gun that he's going to use to murder your friends and fellow cult mates. So Curtis is an absolute idiot in that regard. But I like his design. I like his lines with Alex. I like that Alex asks him for his shotgun and Curtis says, "How about I slap you and kill you?" He should have just done that and not just said it. So I like his performance. I hate his writing. I like his design. His boss fight's kind of meh. He tries to be Leatherface and Hostile reference. But I like him more than Holloway. I would say he is a little bit higher in C tier for me. He's more interesting than Judge Holloway, despite having some of the same problems in terms of character writing. But he's got some better lines. He's got some funnier moments and interactions. But there we go. That's all the main people from Homecoming. We're down to some side characters for Homecoming, and then Shattered Memories after that. We're going to save that for next time. This is where I'm going to have to call it. Because, yeah, we've got storms rolling through. My internet might try and cut out. And I'm just not feeling 100% today. As I said at the start of the stream, my blood pressure's been really low for the last 2 days, where I've felt like passing out, which is really bizarre since I've had really high blood pressure for the last few months that I've been working on. But whatever. Not feeling great today. I'm gonna go get some rest. We'll be back to this and do some more tier listing tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for coming by, hanging out, keeping me company, dealing with me while my brain melts in real time and I try to rank all of these characters. But yeah, I hopefully will see you all tomorrow. Till then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Much love. Peace.